Most people say if you're looking to close high ticket sales, you need one of these. You need one of these phones to get on sales call to close all those clients. But today I'm going to share how you don't actually need this at all. Actually, you could throw it away. If I was going to do a dramatic thing and just throw my phone in the air, but I don't want to break it. But um, for this first time joining one of my lives, I am Brian Czekanski. I focus on closing high ticket sales without the phone. So I'm going to share some of the strategies and what you should be using instead, why there's a quicker, faster, easier, and even cheaper way to close more of those leads and buyers that you have on your list and turn them into higher ticket buyers. So I'm talking about offers anywhere from $1,000 to up to $50K is what I've sold as well in terms of coaching programs, bundles, whatever you have on the back end that increases your profitability, gets people accelerating their progress, accelerating their transformation. So this isn't a mission that I chose. I feel like it's a mission that chose me. I used to work for a company that was $80 million in revenue, and in under 2 years had to close the business. And a lot of that had to do with really having a focus on that front end acquisition, always trying to get those cheap leads through the door. We did have a sales team that tried to monetize some of those leads on the back end, but it just wasn't enough to have the profitability to keep going, especially as some of those lead gen costs have gone up, as you've seen over the last few years, in some cases over 100%. So this kind of became my mission of figuring out, like, okay, how can we monetize those, we had millions of buyers on our list that we weren't able to monetize and increase the profitability enough to keep the business running, keep the growth going, have enough investment through the rest of the door. So it's really become my mission of making sure that mistake doesn't happen again. And one of those things that once you see the problem up close, you see how so many other businesses are dealing with the same thing of just always focusing on that front end acquisition and not doing enough with interacting with their buyers that are already on their email list, in their Facebook groups, SMS, all those different kind of things are great opportunities to start closing those higher ticket type of offers that you're looking for. So again, one of the main reasons that a phone isn't a great way to close a high ticket offer is just think about it from an audience's perspective. Sit in their shoes for a second. How many people really raise their hand and get really motivated and excited to join a sales call? Think about it in your own experience. Do you like being part of a sales process? Do you like jumping on a sales call? And the answer unequivocally usually is no. Obviously, there's the strange outlier there, but just think about it. Like most of the times that you almost have to kind of trick that low ticket buyer to get on a call with you. And this is kind of what we tried to do as well. It's almost like, I forget what we called it. We basically just tried to build up the value of getting on a phone call with one of our sales advisors, talking about all the advice we would give and things like that, almost kind of promoting it as like a coaching call. Whereas, we would talk about their story and things like that, but go immediately to that pitch. So it left a bad, like even if they bought or didn't buy, it kind of left a bad taste in their mouth because they were kind of almost tricked into getting on that sales call. And that's ultimately what you have to do in using the phone. A lot of the times is tricking them to get on the phone because nobody's going to raise their hand and be motivated to join a sales call. So like that was the number one problem. This is why I really don't love the phone a lot. But as we talk about those other avenues of using things like email, using things like chat, using things like SMS, the one thing it does is kind of, it eliminates the time pressure of, okay, at the end of 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you have to make a decision of yes or no. It allows you to have a casual flow of conversation and, get to that offer and see if it's the right offer for them. And for some people, we don't put the offer in front of them because we know, and just learning a little bit more about the outcomes they're looking for, the pain points they have, where it sits in the kind of their priority. Okay, this is not the right time for you and things like that. Gives us the ability to kind of follow up those leads maybe later down in the line where it makes sense a little bit more in terms of their times, their priorities, their budget, all those kind of things. So just because your buyers are out there, like most people just want to get them on a sales call, put a pitch in front of them and see what happens. I would tell you that we want to build a long-term relationship. Think about that lifetime value in your business as much as possible as we go through that. The other advantage of doing it via, again, email, text, SMS, that's kind of my focus in doing it, is that you can close people really quickly. It doesn't mean that we have to jump on a 20 or 30 minute call to close them. There's certain people that are ready with their wallet already out. You ask them, you do a little bit of due diligence, get a little bit more about their story, and they're already ready, motivated, and willing to, especially if you put the right hook in front of them, to roll out the red carpet and become that buyer. So it could take 5 or 10 minutes in terms of doing that. For others, it might take more than that 30 minutes. They might have questions, objections. They might have to talk to their spouse, all those kind of things. Using this avenue, this phoneless sales campaigns, makes it really easy to do it in that way. The other thing I would talk about as well is it's scalable. So, if you think about doing a phone sales, you have to hire out a sales manager. You have to, do appointment setters. It's an expensive investment. The good thing about like the services that I provide, I go out to business owners and say, like, there is no upfront investment here. There's nothing that I'm asking you for. There's actually no risk. I'm taking on that risk. Like, you only pay me once the money hits your account for that high ticket offer. So it's a completely different dynamic in terms of like the build out, the investment that you're putting out there, and doing it in that way. And again, think about the approach here is we're kind of putting out in the way it works in terms of, again, via chat, via SMS, via email. What we're doing is kind of inviting that audience into a new opportunity that they didn't know existed before, that is kind of really connected to your higher ticket type of offer. So we're only dealing with those people that kind of raise their hand and say yes to that opportunity. So, think about that versus a phone sales conversation where you're not exactly sure where they sit on the awareness spectrum, what's their level of interest. And you're not really asking them to, beforehand to jump into a specific opportunity. Again, most of the times we're trying to almost trick them in terms of getting on a sales call to do that. So again, we can put out a hook and we can test those things over time and kind of refine those. But that person has already raised their hand in terms of like, yeah, that's an opportunity that's worthwhile for me. And then we can kind of really dig into their story in the same way that you go on a sales call and learn a little bit more about their story, get an idea of what outcomes they're looking for, what pain points, why is this important to them, what's those emotional triggers before you get into the pitch. Doing the exact same thing via email, SMS, and chat, but doing it again with less time pressure and being able to kind of prioritize your time to those people that are the highest levels of awareness, the ones that we can easily tap in really quickly. So if you think about, again, going back to that investment, the amount of personnel you need, like how many, even if you build out a really huge sales team, how many sales conversations can they have on a daily basis? Me personally, using this avenue, I can have 100 sales conversations within an hour. Super quick, very conversational back and forth. Again, using this avenue, and I have a good sense of what's going on there. And the good part is that I can really get the language of my audience. There's something about kind of sitting behind their computer where they're a lot more vulnerable. They're willing to kind of share the exact language and emotional triggers that are going on with them. And then when I actually do present the offer, again, all via email, all via Google Docs, I can echo back that language to them. So they've said something specific to me. I can echo that back on a specific page that speaks to their pain points, speaks to their hot button issue. So I really have a customized type of offer that speaks to their exact situation, and it makes them feel good. Like, okay, like this person has really built out a solution that's specifically for me, my problem set, and is getting me the outcome that I'm looking for. So again, the amount of conversations that I can have on a daily basis versus somebody that has to find a time that works for both sides. Get that appointment setter, do the follow-up, worry about people that didn't show up or did show up, and then go through it that way. I don't have to deal with any of that. I can just have a conversation back and forth. Obviously, there's those people that have a higher level of awareness, motivation. They're ready to interact right away, and those are the people that I'm going to focus on. Those are the people that I'm going to close right away. If you kind of think about it like a golf course, like I want to really talk to those people that are really close to the hole. I just want to really tap them in really quickly, generate some quick revenue, and then just really think about like, okay, I have a certain amount of people that maybe a little bit further away from the hole. Maybe they have a certain objection that I have to handle or a question that they have, and that's perfectly fine. I'm going to focus on those. And those people that are like, okay, further along, maybe they have a significant objection around budget, price, priority, any of those things, that's perfectly fine. I don't have to close them right away. I could follow up with them 6 months from now when they say it's probably a better time to do that. So it's a great opportunity for me, even if I'm working, most of the times I'm working with a sales team already, it's a good opportunity for me to push that lead back to a sales team member who can follow up on the phone 6 months from now or something like that in terms of getting a level of awareness. And the great thing is I can send the sales team, here's the exact language that they use. They have all kind of the background that they need to have a conversation and to present that offer in a really specific and customized way in doing that. So again, for a whole host of reasons, but I would kind of start with that number one thing is, again, your audience doesn't love getting on sales calls. So like, why generate that friction? I want to kind of flip the script a little bit and say like, okay, like presenting this as kind of a new opportunity via email, SMS, or chat, present a new opportunity in front of them. This is something that we can do every single month in terms of your email or Facebook group or whatever you have right now. SMS, this is something we could do once a month in terms of putting out specific hooks, testing out and split testing those. Eventually, we're going to find the hook that really resonates with a good portion of your list. And we can do variations on that and continue that flow in terms of getting in front of your audience consistently. Again, I talked about it yesterday in terms of kind of that, there's kind of that premise of like, I only have one shot at this high ticket sale. Well, if you do it via email, if you kind of get off the phone and use these other avenues, you have a continuous way to get in front of your audience, present new opportunities, present new hooks. One hook might not resonate with them, but the next hook, as you do further testing, might be the one that really puts them over the balance. And again, they might be in a different time in their life. They might have different priorities, and that's where they're glad to say yes and get to the other side on that way. So kind of covered a lot here today, but I just kind of wanted to dispel the myth of like, anytime you want to close high ticket sales, I need a phone team, I need, appointment setters, all those kind of things. There's an easier way. There's a cheaper way. Like I said, none of my work requires any upfront investment. There's no risk involved. I kind of put it out there as a test. So again, if there's a right fit with your business, we can test this out in the next few weeks, especially before year end, to see if it's a fit for you. It's not a fit for every business, but happy to have the conversation. And again, kind of change the narrative in terms of like, okay, I've got to do all this build out in terms of my sales team to monetize those leads on the other side. And the great part is my solution really, if you do have a sales team, fits right alongside of that. So for those people that didn't book a sales call or they showed up to a sales call and said no, I can follow up them via email, SMS, chat, and just kind of continue the conversation. And again, get into what are some of those questions, objections, kind of tailor that offer specifically to their situation. So again, many times we're working alongside that sales team and not stepping on their toes, not taking away opportunities, but if anything, we're driving leads back to them, doing that follow-up and reactivating leads that you thought were no longer relevant or were ever going to make you money. So again, I talked about it yesterday. I've certainly worked with leads and low ticket buyers that might have bought 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and we're able to reactivate them on the list and get them moving up to that higher ticket type of option. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Always come out with new content every single day. Not sure exactly what time of day. It's usually in the early afternoon, but look out for that. I'll set a new standard time as I go along, but really just trying to dispel the myths that are out there. And there is a faster, easier way to skyrocket your profitability, but also close more of those low ticket buyers that you have on your list, webinar attendees, all those kind of things that said no to your higher ticket type of offer. Let's get in front of them. Let's monetize them. And let's kind of change the game in terms of what you're looking for. And you don't need that large, phone sales team to get that done. So with that, drop me a comment below and look forward to seeing you next time.